On Friday, May 16th, I visited Six Flags over Texas, located in Arlington, Texas, serving the Dallas-Fort Worth Metro. Let's talk about that. This was my first visit to the park in over 2 years, and what I've found about this park is that it has changed significantly from the time I have visited. I do want to put a disclaimer out there. This video might not be the most positive video I've ever made, but it is as constructive as I can possibly make it. Maybe if anyone's planning on going to over Texas in the near future, they could use this as a guide, or they can use it as a strategy to figure out what's the best way to attack this park, or what's the best time to go. Before I get into the two biggest negative things I found with this park while visiting, I want to get into some of the positive things. We want to start this off on a good note here. The first point of positivity that I found with this park is that it is super well presented. And by well presented, I mean the landscaping is on point. The trees, the shrubbery, and the foliage is all well maintained and taken care of. Another area this park gets positive points is the layout. I like this park's layout quite a bit. It's easy to find where you're going. And the final positivity point I would like to give this park is the ride lineup. Despite what coaster enthusiasts say, this park does have a better than average ride lineup. This park pretty much has all of their gaps filled. They have a decent spinning coaster, they have a really forceful launch coaster in Mr. Freeze, they have a nice classic wooden coaster in Judge Roy's Scream, they have their hyper coaster in the form of Titan, and they have a bunch of other supporting coasters. They have an inverted coaster in Batman, they have a water coaster in Aquaman. Six Flags Over Texas ride lineup doesn't do anything spectacular, but it is pretty decent at everything. Consider it a jack-of-all-trades lineup. So if the ride lineup's good, the staff are polite and courteous, and the park has a good outward appearance, then what could possibly be the problem with this park? We started our day by pulling up to the park at around opening time, and immediately then is when we knew this was going to be a pretty taxing day. Upon arriving, we noticed that there were about 50 school buses and coach buses and all kinds of buses of that nature. We knew immediately that this park was going to be slammed.
This place is like the zombie apocalypse.
Let's hope the operations are good, or at least everything's running 2 trains, hopefully. We quickly found that that was not the case. Mind you, the app said the park opened at 11, we were in the park at 10:30 and everything already had over an hour wait. But there was one ride that said it didn't have a wait at all, and it was open, and that was New Texas Giant. So we went back to New Texas Giant to give it a ride, seeing that it didn't have a line. Or at least that's what the app said, because when we got there, the line was already building up quite heavily, and just by looking at the line, we knew it wasn't going to be a 5-minute wait, but the app said so I guess we're just gonna ride it anyway. I mean, maybe the operations are spot on. Maybe a line that looks long isn't actually long because the operations are so good. No, the app actually just lied to us and said the ride didn't have a wait. What actually ended up happening is we waited about 2 hours to ride it.
And that is the only footage of that I'm gonna get.
And this is where my first miniature gripe with the park comes from, and I don't know who's responsible for doing this, but I haven't had this issue at any other park I've been to, so it's worth mentioning. The wait times on the app are not entirely transparent. These wait times correlate exactly with the wait times that are on those screens that are placed around the park that you can walk up to. Check the wait time for all of the rides you want to get on. Those wait times are not accurate. And it's incredibly misleading for people who are trying to plan their day around what rides they want to ride, so on, so forth. Usually a park will post a higher wait time than the actual wait time to make it feel more rewarding and satisfying when you get on the ride quicker than the posted wait time. At Six Flags Over Texas, I guess they do things a little differently because the actual posted wait time is about half of what the actual wait time is. And in New Texas Giant's case, a 0-minute wait was actually a 120-minute wait. Now you're probably thinking, a 2-hour wait for New Texas Giant? It was probably a long line. Nope, it wasn't really. I wasn't keeping an exact count on how many trains were dispatched between the time I got in line and the time I got on the ride, but I want to say it was about 12. I may have miscounted this, but I'm not so sure, because I was timing the dispatches and I clocked a 12-minute dispatch on one of the runs. Now this 12-minute dispatch also accounts for the fact that they were running one train. The train was parked in the station for probably about 8 minutes and it was out of the station for about 3. But still, a train being parked in the station for 8 minutes. That is a brutal load and unload time. And that's a segue into my second gripe with this park that basically affects the entire thing. It is ubiquitous across the entire park, and that is the operations. I never thought in a million years I would find a park that can rival Hershey Park in terms of operations. I wanted to say that a 12-minute dispatch on New Texas Giant was an outlier, but it wasn't really. 12 minutes was slightly elevated compared to the other dispatches that I was clocking. And yes, I do time dispatches when I'm in line because there's nothing else to do. I don't remember New Texas Giant having operations like this because the previous time I went to the park 2 years ago, New Texas Giant's operations weren't the best, but they weren't this bad. We got to the park at around 10:30 and we didn't get off New Texas Giant until about 12. And after riding New Texas Giant, we were thirsty, we were parched, we were sitting out there in that Texas sun and we needed some water. Luckily, I have some insider knowledge in my noggin and realized that pretty much every park in the United States offers you free water cups, meaning you can walk up to a food and beverage stand and you can get a free water cup. It's not a big water cup, but it is free. So I will gladly take my free water because I'm not paying $5 a water bottle. If you have a family, or if you're someone who gets dehydrated easily, especially in that Texas sun, it's easy to spend upwards of $40 or so on just water if you were to buy it. So yes, I will gladly take my free water cup. They appear to have made some changes with the way they give their free water cups. What changes could they have possibly made to their free water cups? Well, you can't get them just anywhere now. I remember going to this park 2 years ago and being able to walk up to any self-serve or basically any freestanding drink stand and just get your cup of water there. You can get your cup of water wherever they had water. Not anymore. You either have to go to a snack bar or a full-on restaurant to get your cup of water. And that's a problem because the bad operations on their rides transfer over to food and beverage as well. Meaning, if you want a free cup of water, now you're gonna have to wait half an hour to get it. I know why they took away the free water cups at the standing drink stands, and that's probably because people would take their water cup and they would fill it with soda and lemonade, and the park didn't want that. Unfortunately, for the honest, hard-working, tax-paying citizen like myself, that negatively impacts my experience. I had no intention to abuse this system to get soda and lemonade, but I know people do it, so I'm the one who has to pay the price for it and wait 30 minutes to get a tiny little cup of water. I don't want to sound like a Karen or anything, but if people are walking around in that Texas sun and they are dehydrated, having to wait 30 minutes for an unsatisfying amount of water, and by unsatisfying I mean quite literally a shot glass filled with water, I can easily see someone having a heat stroke and passing out waiting for their water, or walking around trying to find some. Because this is the first time I've been to a park and was wondering where the water fountains were. I wasn't gonna wait 30 minutes for another cup of water, so I figured I would look for a water fountain to try and refill my water cup so that I didn't have to wait 30 minutes for a new one. Unfortunately, finding water fountains was an arduous task. It's what some people would call a fool's errand. I was only able to find 2 water fountains in the entire park. One in the Gotham City area by Batwing, the flat ride, and another one by the mine trains. Aside from those, I couldn't find any other water fountains. I even asked park staff where I could find one, and they had no idea. After riding New Texas Giant and getting the water debacle sorted out, we decided to head to something that I knew absolutely, for sure, didn't have a line. And that was Judge Roy Scream. And I was right, no one was waiting in line for this, either because they don't know where it is or no one likes this ride. And if nobody likes this ride, I'm not really sure why. Judge Roy Scream isn't an egregious ride by any means. It's not overly rough. If you're looking for some pure, unadulterated fun, go and head over to Judge Roy Scream. I'm sure you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Hey you! Man. This ride has some character.
It's got some character.
It's got a little bit of character arc. This ride reminds me of my Aunt Sheila on 5th and Broad.
Hey, let me tell you.
Let me tell you something.
Okay?
Let me tell you something.
And honestly, after riding Judge Roy Scream, my mood was lifted for the day. I was a little bit happier before going on it because it feels like we're making progress in this lineup. I already knew coming in that I wasn't going to ride everything just because of the operations, but I was okay with that. So really, I just wanted to ride the things that I really enjoyed, things I wanted to get re-rides on from last time. That being New Texas Giant, Judge Roy Scream, and our next ride, Mr. Freeze.
And dude, I guarantee you, if we go to wait in line for Mr. Freeze, it's not going to be 45 minutes. It's going to be like 2 hours with breakdowns, 1 train ops, and 12-minute dispatches.
The wait time was incredibly undersold. But poor me, I was too naive to think otherwise. I thought the 30-minute wait posted for Mr. Freeze was accurate, and unfortunately it was not. The posted wait time was 30 minutes, the actual wait time was about an hour and a half.
Yeah! Turn it up!
Welcome to Problematic Roller Coasters.
I will say the Mr. Freeze crew was doing pretty good, or we weren't seeing 12-minute dispatches like we were on New Texas Giant. And of course, Mr. Freeze slaps. It's a really good LIM launch coaster by Premier Rides, a very intense shuttle loop coaster with bone-crushing positive Gs. Overall, a really fun ride. It's short, but it's sweet. After getting off Mr. Freeze, we essentially just walked around the park. I got some pictures and videos, and then I decided to thug it out and wait for a ride I've never been on before. Because this is my third visit to Six Flags over Texas, and not once did I ride Runaway Mine Train. Not because I didn't want to, but because it was never open. But as far as roller coasters go, that's all I did. That's right. I was there for pretty much all day, and I rode 4 roller coasters. To be honest with you, I completely forgot about Titan. I don't know how I could have forgotten about Titan, but I did. It just wasn't on the forefront of my mind. After riding those 4 coasters, the only thing I could really think of is walking around, get some footage, get some pictures, check out Tormenta, and leave. And that's pretty much what we did. We did ride Justice League Battle for Metropolis because it didn't have a line, and honestly, it was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. After our 4 coasters and our 1 dark ride experience on Justice League, it was time to hang in the towel. 5 rides doesn't sound like a lot, but we were there from basically 10:30 to 7 o'clock in the evening. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, Over Texas is super well presented, the landscaping is on point, the trees, the shrubs, well maintained. The park has a great appearance. It looks good. It is pretty. It has a pretty diverse portfolio of roller coasters and flat rides. Nothing doesn't really feel to be missing, especially with a 300-foot dive coaster about to open. My 2 biggest gripes with this park can kind of be lumped into one, and that's just the way the park is managed. Right now, it doesn't seem like it's currently equipped to handle the large summer crowds that will be coming. But as it stands right now, their line management needs work. On top of line management being an issue, the transparency on wait times with the posted signage and the app is completely wrong. Now, I'm not really sure if this has anything to do with the corporate shakeup that's been going on, especially with park presidents leaving, no park president, and then a new one stepping in. That could very well be the reason. I don't want to make any assumptions here, but it's easy to get the impression, especially from the general public, and even I can get that impression too. And I don't know if this is true or not, it might not be, but what if the park doesn't have the incentive to pump the trains out quickly? Running 1 trains on everything and having slow operations will inevitably boost fast lane sales. On top of boosting fast lane sales, they can also keep operational costs low by cycling less trains each hour. Is that the reason why operations are slow? Probably not. Maybe it is. I have no idea. But that's the impression I get, and it might be the impression that many other people get as well if they looked close enough. I am genuinely hoping that what we are seeing here isn't a paradigm shift. A paradigm shift from the former standard experience you could get just by walking in the park with a ticket is now the premium upcharge experience. This is something that other people have talked about before, especially with the amusement park business. What was once the standard just a couple years ago is now the premium experience you have to pay extra money for, and that former premium experience you could get at the park is no longer. With the slow operations and 1 train on everything, getting on every ride at the park is now no longer possible if the lines are bad. If you want to do that, now you're going to have to spend extra for Fastlane. Or if you have a Prestige membership, you can use your one-time skip the line pass. It's not all doom and gloom though. I understand parks are doing this because cutting costs is almost becoming necessary in today's economy. People's spending habits are changing. I get it. And I'm here to say, well, yes, I did have a negative experience at Six Flags Over Texas. I still like the park. And I have a feeling that when Tormenta opens, this park is going to make a shift for the better. More people are going to come through those gates. The park is going to be doing really well financially. It's going to be in a good spot. It is primed to be a top tier Six Flags park. All upper management has to do is pull the trigger and make a few small adjustments, especially with the water situation and the drink situation. There's got to be a way to circumvent people abusing the system while still allowing honest people to get their water easily. Line management needs to be just a little bit better, and maybe a little bit more transparency with the actual wait time so that people aren't upset. Also, a bonus thing that I wish the park would do, if they do it, I definitely didn't see it, just give everyone who wants to visit the park a heads up. If there's going to be a massive field trip and there's going to be 100 school buses of unsupervised children running around, it would be nice to get a heads up. I know they have a chaperone policy, but it does not seem to be enforced. Realistically, how could one adult look after 7 or 8 kids? It's not feasible. Going to a park and seeing like 300 school buses in the parking lot with all like thousands of rowdy kids that are unsupervised running around, that negatively affects the guest experience as well. It would be nice to get a heads up. Hey guys, just so you know, there's every school in the entire state of Texas is coming here today. It might be best if you picked a different day to come. That would be well appreciated, because I had no idea going into the park that day that there would be 10 trillion school buses, 50,000 kids just running around screaming, and it was chaos. It was total utter anarchy. I hope this video was somewhat useful to you. Maybe if you're going to Six Flags Over Texas in the near future, you could maybe get some pointers, maybe get some ideas, some insight on what the park was like when I went. I will be ranking Asian countries based on their best coasters very soon, but I need to record the audio for that and edit that first. In the meantime, here's a little experience of mine at Six Flags Over Texas. Take it with a grain of salt. I hope you found something useful and informational, and I will see you next time.